Hi, I'm Mangesh from GoSavvy.net. In this video, we will see how to use the Smart Matchmover tool from GoSavvy Maya Toolset. We have a demo shot open in which the camera is tracked and the object match move is done for the tube with the weapon asset that we have. We will first take a look at this shot. As you see, the bottom part of the weapon is matching with the tube, and on the top we have matched that edge of the weapon at the end of the tube. Now assume that there is a change in the scope of work, or suppose now you realize that actually you have to match the tip of the weapon to the end of this tube. Now how can we proceed? Well, to understand how the Smart Matchmover tool is going to help us in this scenario, I will demonstrate two methods to fix this. First is without using the tool, and in the second method we will use the tool to fix this, so that you can compare how the Smart Matchmover is going to save our time and efforts. So this is our main object control named weapon. It is located in the center of the object. The bottom part is matching well, but we need to fix the top part where we will be matching the tip to the end of this tube. So we will need the control at the bottom, and for that we will create a locator in the bottom and make it the parent control of the weapon. Let's keep the maintain offset on. Now we can bake this. Well, we can use the fast bake tool for that. Let's reparent this. And now we have got the control at the bottom, and the match move is still the same. We will now use the anim layer to offset our animation. Let's key this in the first frame. We will move this in depth and try to match the bottom as well as the tip of the weapon on the top. Now if we move ahead in the timeline, you see that the bottom part is not matching anymore. Let's move it in place. Matching it here as well. Again we have to move it back in depth to match the tip. Here you can also use the Move in Screen Z axis tool, which we have in the toolset. Alt A is the default shortcut to toggle between world mode, object mode, and the screen mode. This will speed up our process of moving it back and matching it. In the screen mode, we are moving it perpendicular to the camera view. Even after matching it in all the frames, you see that here it is missing the lineup in the in-between frames. Here also it is missing. Here as well. Basically, you will have to adjust it in most of the frames to do it precisely. So this becomes a tedious job when the scope of work is changed. It's like you are redoing your task. Don't worry, we are not doing it all, but you got the idea. We will delete this anim layer and we will make the original object controller. So we have switched back to our original Matchmover file. Now we have previous animation in this. Now let's see how we can use the Smart Matchmover tool to fix this. So let's launch this. You get this UI as you see. First, we will select the camera and click on the Add Camera button. This is your main object controller. Select it and add it here. For this weapon, we have the bottom part matching well. So we need the pivot to be there. So we can adjust the top part. Select the vertex where you need the pivot and add it here in the UI. Let's click on Activate. Now you see another UI with all these buttons. In the middle here you see the Translate, Rotate and Depth control buttons, for which the shortcut is T, Y and U respectively. Press T and you can translate with this. Y is the rotate. You can rotate it from the pivot. And U is the depth. Let's adjust the depth to match the tip. In our case, we will be using the depth controller to fix our match move. Let's key this in the first frame. And now when you move ahead, you see that the part where we set the pivot will be matching throughout the frame range. This part is matching same as before. This will stick throughout no matter how much you adjust the depth. To fix our match move, we just have to play with the depth. That's it. Just middle click and drag to adjust the depth. Note that we are not scaling the object here, just moving it back from the camera point of view. Adjust it in just a few frames. Wherever I see the tip is not matching, we have adjusted it in a very few frames, and that's it. We have fixed the match move real quick with just 8 to 9 keys. Let's see some more features that we have in this tool. This is the Select All Channels button, which selects all these T, Y and U controllers so that you can key it all together. This button is to merge depth channel in Z graph. Now, what is Z graph? If you click this button, View Object Screen Z graph, you can see in the graph editor how the object is moving perpendicular to your camera. We see some bumps in this frame range. This is actually showing you the curve of the previous animation because now we have set the keys on the depth controller and not pegged it yet. So let's merge this depth channel in the Z graph with this button. Now you don't have keys on the depth channel. Now we see the updated Z curve, but still you can see that the bumps are there in the curve. Let's open the perspective view. In the perspective, in this area you can see those bumps in the animation. We can easily fix this by smoothing this curve. You can use the smooth curve tool which is there in the toolset. I am adjusting these windows so you can see it better. When we smooth it, you see that it gets adjusted in the perspective, but in the camera view it is maintaining your match move. Now we can close this. Now you see we have nice and smooth animation in the perspective. You can also change the shortcuts T, Y and U to whatever you want and click on the set hotkeys. Next we will see this bake and change the pivot button. In this task we only use the depth channel, but you can do the match move right from scratch using these translate, rotate and depth channels together. While doing the match move, you can change the pivot of this object anywhere, anytime. Like if now I do not want the pivot at the bottom and I want to continue the match move with the pivot on the top, I will select this vertex and click Bake and Change Pivot button. Now I can do the match move from the new pivot point. Our previous match move is not changed. It is exactly the same as it was before changing the pivot. If you want to change it to the center, just select the vertex and click. Even if you accidentally close the window or you want to save the file and close Maya and continue the work later on, you can do that. Next time when you run the tool, you will get the same UI back with all the settings, keys and animations same as where you had left. After you are done, there are three options to bake it. Default is the normal bake. It will bake the animation with keys on all the frames. Under the Smart Bake section, the first one is Classic Bake. It will set the keyframes only on the frames where it is required, without changing your animation curves. We can preview it first and then bake it. First, let's preview the normal bake. You can see that we have keys on all the frames. Let's revert back to undo the preview. Now let's preview the classic bake. It will take a little longer to bake. In the timeline, you see it has keys on all the frames, but let's check the graph editor. As you see here, it has keyed only where it is required. That's why you see the missing keyframes in between. Note that there will be no change in your match move. What the systematic bake does is the same as the classic bake, but first it will key on every 10 frames like 10, 20, 30 and so on, and then it will key on other frames where it is required in order to maintain your animation curves. Let's preview that as well. Open the graph editor. It looks quite similar to classic bake, but the baking process is a bit different. When you are happy with the result, click on Clear Nodes and Finish button. And make sure you click on this to clear out all the nodes and controls it has created. The main controller turned red when we activated the Smart Matchmover at the start. Now you see that the red color is gone and you have the animation baked on it. So that's it for today. If you have any questions or suggestions, you can mention it in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. See you in the next video featuring some new tools.